As a busy dad, I count myself lucky if I even feel human a lot of the time, let alone ultrahuman. So when Ultrahuman reached out and asked if I wanted to review their smart ring, the Ultrahuman Air, I was wondering how much a piece of tech like this can really improve my sleep unless it teaches my son how to sleep in his own bed. But having tried and failed to improve my fitness with the Apple Watch over the past few years, I thought, why not? Let's give it a go and see if this form factor can really be more effective than something you wear on your wrist. The Ultrahuman Air comes in a range of colours, all made out of this fighter jet grade titanium finish with a carbon coating, so it's really strong and sturdy. I personally went for the raw titanium colour, which matches my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and also because I have kind of cool tones, it matches the other kind of jewellery that I'm likely to wear, including my wedding ring, which does look very puny compared to this beast of a smart ring. Not necessarily something that your partner is going to be fanatical about. It has a thickness of between 2.45mm and 2.8mm, depending on the size that you go for. Sizing is something which is at least made really easy for you by Ultrahuman. Before placing an order, they'll send you out a free sizing pack that will allow you to try out different bands and select the one that is perfect for you. It's not just about getting a comfortable fit, you also need to make sure that the sensors inside of the ring are able to properly connect with your skin and start to track your vitals appropriately. On the inside too, it's actually really comfortable to wear. It's made with a hypoallergenic epoxy resin that feels really nice against your skin. And despite being packed with sensors on the underside of the ring, it's not going to get hot as you wear it throughout the day. The only time you'll notice any kind of heating is really straight after you have charged it. The main discomfort with a ring like this is really going to be its sheer size, and also the fact that it's recommended to place the ring on your index finger. If you are used to wearing a wedding ring, then you probably know that it doesn't actually get in the way too much through daily life. Helps that a lot of the time we wear our wedding fingers on our left hand and most people are right-handed. But as soon as you put a big chunky ring on your index finger of your dominant hand, then it really does start to get in the way. I find it particularly uncomfortable when I'm driving because it really brushes up against the steering wheel and kind of digs into my finger, and it can also be a bit uncomfortable if you are doing something like gaming. I would also recommend making sure that you have like a screen protector or a case on your phone, because this chunky piece of metal is going to dig into metal surfaces and potentially scratch them. There are some other smart rings that have come out recently with different band designs, so some of them will have a concave design to them, some of them will have rounded edges. The Ultrahuman Air just has a flat metallic kind of ring around the band, and that is also part of the reason that it can get in the way when you are performing sort of daily tasks. I'm not entirely sure which is the most convenient design in that sense. It is just something that you're going to have to get used to if you want to track your health using this ring. The flip side of this is that it's a lot more comfortable to wear while you're asleep than something like an Apple Watch. While the Apple Watch is capable of tracking your sleep, it can also disturb you in the night as well, because it can be pretty uncomfortable, especially if the strap digs into your skin at all, and if you happen to sort of wake up sleeping on your wrist and you have a big watch face on the side of your cheek. It's happened to me a couple of times. The Ultrahuman Air is just going to get out of the way while you sleep and just simply do what it does best, and that is track your heart rate and make sure that you're getting a good night's sleep. Battery is also something that comes into this. With the Ultrahuman Air, you're going to get 4 to 6 days worth of battery life, and that means that you really can just kind of forget about charging it. If you go away for the weekend, you don't necessarily need to take your charger with you. And that is also convenient because the charger itself is bespoke for this ring, and you definitely don't want to lose it. In terms of charging, it takes up to 90 minutes to get a full charge, and Ultrahuman tries to prompt you to keep it within a 20 to 80% battery range so that you are keeping the battery at optimum health. I should also mention that because the ring is made out of titanium, it's going to patina over time, and it's going to get scratched up exactly like any other piece of jewelry that you would wear, but that can also add character to the ring and make it feel a little bit more yours. The technology inside this ring is really impressive. It's going to be using infrared sensors and firing different coloured lights at your skin to detect your vitals. With all these kinds of smart technologies, I'm very skeptical about the accuracy of them, and so I don't think that they should ever be taken as the absolute truth in terms of your health and fitness. They can just be useful in terms of monitoring changes in your vitals, and if they do prompt you to go and see a medical professional who can then verify whether you have any underlying health issues, then they can only be good. So in that sense, I actually really appreciate the fact that the Ultrahuman app is so detailed and gives you a lot of information that's not strictly medical, but will improve how you feel on a day-to-day basis. A big part of this is sleep tracking, of course, and not only will it actually just track your sleep and try to tell you about the different phases of sleep that you've gone through during the night, it will also give you some tips on how you can do things like shift your circadian rhythm so that it can help you wake up earlier in the morning. That includes doing things like using the dynamic island on the newest iPhones to prompt you to get more sunlight during a specific window of the day. One thing I have struggled with for a long time is that kind of post-afternoon slump. And actually the biggest revelation that I have got out of the Ultrahuman app is that I was drinking coffee too quickly after waking up. It turns out that your body produces this hormone called adrenaline, which helps to lower your heart rate and send you off to sleep. When you wake up, your body tries to counteract this adrenaline and get it out of your system so that you feel alert. Drinking caffeine actually interferes with this process, and it can lead to a buildup of adrenaline which will make you feel drowsy when the impact of the caffeine actually wears off. And so one thing I've been doing is drinking coffee far too early in the day, and then really feeling the impact in kind of a post-midday slump, and then needing another cup of coffee, which kind of impacts me later on in the evening because I can't get to sleep. Using the advice in the Ultrahuman app and moderating my caffeine intake based on its suggestions, I've actually found that I've been able to eliminate that afternoon slump. So even in that respect, I'm actually really happy with the way this app and ring have helped me so far. I definitely can't do anything about my son waking up to ask for milk or even just a hug, but I've definitely got to the stage where I don't even particularly notice it anymore. I just go into autopilot, get some milk for him, and send him back to sleep. Funny enough, I've noticed that the app does notice when I'm waking up in these points, and I've actually been able to track my son's sleep progress just vicariously by looking at my own sleep patterns as a proxy, and that's been quite interesting and fun too. Throughout the day, there are also some really interesting stats that you can look at in the Ultrahuman app. For example, you can look at your stress rhythm, and it's been interesting to look at the different times in the day when I get particularly stressed with tasks at work or just in my daily life, and it's helped me to just be a bit more mindful in those situations and try to approach them in a calmer way, or maybe plan things a little bit further in advance so that I don't have to get stressed about them closer to a deadline. Beyond these stats though, I have found that a lot of the information that's delivered to you in the Ultrahuman app can be quite complicated in the way it's communicated. So there are a lot of things like recovery rates, temperature drops, that I haven't really engaged with because I just don't want to have to read a textbook explaining exactly why these data points matter to me. I do think that Ultrahuman could do a bit more to explain things in a more user-friendly way, and also in a way that makes them actually seem relevant to my daily life. One of the big advantages that the Ultrahuman has over competitors is that it doesn't require any subscription to use these app features or use the ring on an ongoing basis, but they have started to introduce some paid for plugins that can help you to monitor specific things within your health profile. One of the free power plugs that you can install, which is quite useful, is vitamin D recommendations, and this will prompt you to enter in some details about like your ethnicity, the color of your skin. That will just remind you to get the appropriate amount of exposure to daylight, which will help you to get that vitamin D into your system. You can also get power plugs which do things like track menstrual cycles. I don't need one of those, but it may be useful to a woman who is going through some kind of fertility planning and wants to get some data that can help them find those windows for, the best periods to try. Again, this is getting into the territory of places where I'm a bit skeptical that the technology is accurate enough to help you do things like family planning, and everything should be done in consultation with a medical professional. But sometimes these things can just help ease your mind and put you in a more relaxed state of mind when you are trying to go through things that can be quite stressful. Beyond the app, Ultrahuman seems to be building out a bit of a hardware ecosystem. So there is also an insulin patch which you can pay extra to get, which will do things like measure your glucose levels, and that can help you to understand how like diabetes is impacting your life. They've also announced kind of a home dock that can sit in your house and monitor environmental signals which could impact your health. They haven't announced too many details on that, so watch this space, but it is interesting to see how they're trying to build out this ecosystem which can help you just be your better self in general. It is slightly frustrating how much real estate in the app is given away to promoting these add-ons and additional pieces of hardware. But in fairness, there is also another section in the app which is dedicated to mindfulness exercises and other breathing techniques, things like that, which can help you in a very practical sense. The big question is whether all of this put together is really enough to make an impact on your health. And very interestingly, according to the weekly reports that are being sent by Ultrahuman, I have been able to improve my sleep over the past 3 or 4 weeks while I've been wearing the device. I've also managed to wear this ring pretty religiously. There was a one weekend where I kind of got sick of it and didn't wear it. That's because I was doing a lot of driving on that weekend, and as I said, I don't really like wearing this when I'm handling a steering wheel. But I've worn it a lot more consistently than the Apple Watch, which, as you can see, I'm not wearing now because I forgot to charge it overnight, and so I can't be bothered. While I do really appreciate it when I'm wearing it, and there are some things that I really love about it, for example, the ability to go out for a run without taking my phone with me and use it to control media around the room, I just find myself never having it charged when I really need it. Finding it uncomfortable when I go to sleep, and from time to time accidental button presses which do things like shoot the volume up in my headphones or pause music altogether. So while I do really like the Apple Watch, I do find this smart ring form factor a lot more convenient. Whether I continue to wear the Ultrahuman ring going forward remains to be seen. I'm not generally a big jewelry kind of person. I just like to feel free and not have too much things encumbering my body. But I am impressed with the insights that I've gleaned from this Ultrahuman ring. But going forward, I think I definitely will keep using the Ultrahuman ring to track my sleep. I'm not going to feel obliged to wear it all the time, and especially during times of the day where I do find it a little bit too intrusive, I'm just going to slip it off. Broadly though, this is a really interesting space, and I do feel kind of convinced that smart rings are the much better and more practical and comfortable way of tracking your health over a long period of time. And I'm really interested to see how this kind of wearable space evolves, especially now that we've got a few competitors in the market that are all doing slightly different things with this form factor. Let me know in the comments if you wear any kind of smart technology and if it's helped you in the past. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.